Yuta Okkotsu is way more broken than you realize. In this video, we're going to break down Yuta's character, including his abilities, his potential, and his fights in the series so far. Yuta is undoubtedly one of the strongest sorcerers in the series, second only to Gojo. However, I do believe Yuta actually has the potential to overtake Gojo, something stated by Gojo himself. So let's get started and see why Yuta is way too broken.
Oh, well then. You can come on in now.
Yuta Okkotsu is first introduced in Volume 0. If you're unfamiliar with this character's introduction, then I suggest you go watch/read Volume 0 because there will be manga and anime spoilers in this video. Although I will give a brief reminder, Yuta is a special grade sorcerer. He is accompanied by Rika, the Queen of Curses. Rika Oromoto was Yuta's childhood friend who died in a car accident and then was believed to have cursed Yuta. Yuta accidentally cursed her in fact, but managed to free her soul at the end of Volume 0. The curse of Rika stuck around and Yuta went to train in Africa, and he is now a second year studying abroad until the Shibuya arc concludes where he makes his appearance in the main storyline. Yuta Okkotsu is the second strongest sorcerer of the modern age. I will explain Rika and Yuta's technique later, but for now there's some important information we need to go through. From what we know so far, Yuta Okkotsu has the most cursed energy out of anyone except Sukuna. He himself tells Itadori he has more cursed energy than Gojo, but explains that Gojo will never run out of cursed energy due to how the six eyes work. Ryo Ishigori also states that Yuta's cursed energy is boundless, although this is often misunderstood. His cursed energy is not actually boundless, it can run out, however it's just so much that others perceive it as boundless. Yuta is also stated to be second only to Gojo in unusual abilities. Some people take this as a reason to think he isn't generally second to Gojo, however his abilities and feats in the series most definitely say otherwise. Furthermore, Yuta's presence in Shibuya genuinely makes Chozo and Naoya Zenin shit their pants. Naoya is the conceited Zenin family heir and a supreme grade 1 sorcerer, yet Yuta's sudden appearance felt like a creepier version of Gojo to Naoya. Even Chozo knew any one of them to fight Yuta in that moment would die. These facts will all be important throughout, so just keep them in mind. Now to look at some of Yuta's abilities. Like I said, Rika and Yuta's curse technique will be explained later after I establish some other skills that the pair have. Yuta only became aware of the Jujutsu world when starting his first year at Jujutsu High. In just a few short months, he became proficient in fighting with a katana, and he learned how to imbue said katana with Rika's curse and cursed energy. In the same time span, he also mastered all forms of the reverse curse technique. Don't forget, reverse curse technique is a very rare and difficult ability to have, especially after only training for just a few months. Yuta can do more than simply heal himself. He can output positive energy to heal others. He can also output it offensively to kill curses, because positive energy is much more effective against curses than cursed energy is. Positive energy can effectively one-shot a curse, which Yuta demonstrates in his fight against Kuroroshi. Even Satoru Gojo cannot heal others, and he cannot output positive energy, at least not that we're aware. Another impressive ability he has is his cursed energy reinforcement. Granted, all sorcerers are taught this early on, and it's a very basic ability. However, Yuta's reinforcement is so incredibly strong. By enhancing his body with his extremely high cursed energy, he can match Yuji in speed and strength, which is like, it's Yuji Itadori, you know? Even a basic kick was enough to win Itadori, someone who took blows from Hanami and took a black flash from Mahito. Yuta's durability is also incredibly impressive. In his first year, he fought against Suguru Geto, which we'll discuss later, but in that battle, he took hits from special grade curse tool Playful Cloud. Yeah, the same Playful Cloud that did this to Hanami, and this to Dagon. Yuta also blocked Ryo's Granite Blast with just his bare hands. For those of you who don't know, Ryo has the highest cursed energy output of all Culling game players, and of any sorcerer that we've actually seen so far, at least that I'm aware of. Ryo is also able to consistently use a high output for all of his attacks, making him very dangerous, and it's very impressive that Yuta was able to put up a very, very good fight against him. Yuta is also one of the few sorcerers to experience Black Flash when he is fighting Suguru Geto. As Todo expertly explains, Black Flash allows the sorcerer to fully understand how to use cursed energy as if it was an ingredient which you previously never knew the taste of. And if all of this wasn't impressive enough, we learned Yuta actually has a domain expansion. This is another very rare ability which gives the user a massive advantage. We may not know what it is, but the fact that he has one is impressive enough, and he also gave us one of the coldest manga panels ever. Not to mention the fact that his cursed energy will not burn out after one expansion, especially when connected to Rika, as he showed in Sendai Colony. As shown by the likes of Fushiguro, an average sorcerer's domain expansion will leave you utterly exhausted. However, Yuta is one of those sorcerers that doesn't quite fall into the average category. Although, don't be mistaken, cursed energy is different to cursed technique. Everyone's cursed technique burns out after using a domain expansion. However, some sorcerers who have less cursed energy than the likes of Yuta, Gojo, and Sukuna may burn out of cursed energy as well. Although Yuta, Gojo, everyone all burn out of their curse technique temporarily. Although Gojo did some weird reverse curse technique thing to his brain to fix this later, but that's not important right now. Now to look at Rika, the Queen of Curses. The Curse of Rika stuck around after Yuta freed Oromoto's soul. Queen of Curses acts only to assist Yuta and acts as a receptacle for his cursed energy and cursed technique. Now, Yuta, Okkotsu, and Rika are characters we actually know strangely little about. In fact, the only other characters whose techniques remain as unexplained are Itadori's and Sukuna's. However, after some serious reading, I believe I understand how Rika and Yuta work. Normally, Rika and Yuta are two independent beings with independent cursed energy supplies. Rika was cursed by Yuta, meaning he is the source of Rika's power. But despite it being Yuta's cursed energy originally, the power is now Rika's independent supply. When Ryo refers to Yuta's cursed energy as boundless, he is talking about Yuta and Yuta's own independent supply, not even taking in consideration Rika's power, which does just come from Yuta. Some say Yuta is only strong because of Rika, when in actuality Yuta is independently strong, not to mention the fact that Rika is only strong because of Yuta. Anyway, Rika comes out when Yuta needs and follows orders flawlessly. This basically means anyone fighting Yuta will always be in a 1v2 situation, the two in question being one of the strongest sorcerers and one of the strongest curses of all time. The fact Rika can act independently, take orders, and link with Yuta make the pair incredibly dangerous. At a base level, Rika displays enough strength to effortlessly restrain Itadori and destroy a bridge. Now for the exciting part. Yuta has a promise ring given by Rika when they were kids. When putting it on, Yuta and Rika are completely connected for 5 minutes. At this point, Yuta can only hold the connection for 5 minutes, but I reckon that can actually change with training. It is only about Yuta's ability to hold the connection that actually limits it. So unlike Hikari's jackpot, where it's 4 minutes and 11 seconds just because that's how his technique works, that's how long the song is, Yuta's actually could be expanded just because it is only limited by his ability to hold the connection. Anyway, during this 5 minutes, Yuta can A, fully manifest Rika, B, has access to Rika's supply of cursed energy, and C, has access to his cursed technique. After beating Kororoshi and fighting to exhaustion with Ryo and Yuro, Yuta connects to Rika. Despite depleting his cursed energy, Yuta's cursed energy replenishes and swells up as soon as he puts on the ring. This means he actually now has access to even more cursed energy than his own boundless supply. Rika's cursed energy is never clearly stated, however it is believed to be genuinely endless. This makes Rika near impossible to exercise, which is something Gojo says himself in Volume 0. Now from my understanding, as long as the connection is maintained, Yuta can access Rika's cursed energy, meaning Yuta has access to endless cursed energy for 5 minutes, which I don't see how that's any different to Hikari having infinite cursed energy for his 4 minutes and 11 seconds. I don't see how Yuta runs out of cursed energy, even though I understand Rika's amount of cursed energy isn't actually stated, so it could not be endless, just like how Yuta's isn't actually boundless. Although the fact his replenishes and he has access to Rika's cursed energy, I don't see him ever running out of cursed energy, so it might as well be infinite. Furthermore, Rika can still fight and access her own cursed energy as well, meaning there is enough literally for 2 people to be incredibly powerful. Rika can also release massive energy blasts, which are only slightly less than Granite Blast output, which is one of the highest output attacks in all of Jujutsu Kaisen, due to Ryo Ishiguri having the highest output of any Jujutsu sorcerer in the Culling games. Anyway, it's finally time to talk about Yuta's cursed technique, which is believed to be copy. Yuta's technique is one that is sort of shown and not told. Unlike every other ability, neither the narrator nor Yuta himself ever actually explain his technique. It's just all speculation. So it could all just be wrong, or it could all just be red herrings. We don't actually know how it works. We don't know the conditions. It's just all speculation at this point. As much as I do think the speculation is accurate, it would be foolish to assume so, especially since we assumed the same of Sukuna and then he pulled out fucking fire arrows and now everyone's confused and they think it's a Hittori and soul swapping and all this bullshit. We don't know. The point is we don't know. It's like we have no idea. The fact we don't fully understand the extent of Yuta's, Sukuna's, and Itadori's power is what gives them so much potential. It can just go from any direction. It has never been clearly stated, it's all speculation. Anyway, assuming his technique is copying, it is basically as simple as it sounds. Yuta Okkotsu can fulfill a condition when connected to Rika and add other techniques to his arsenal. Once a technique has been copied, it stays forever, at least as far as I'm aware, because Inamaki's cursed speech stayed around so that he could use it in Sendai Colony despite having copied it all the way back in the events of Volume 0. I also believe Rika's capacity to store techniques is endless. My reason for thinking so is the difference between Yuta and Kenjaku. Kenjaku steals techniques, but Yuki claims he can't have that many since his brain wouldn't be able to handle it. She then says this doesn't apply to Okkotsu since Rika acts as a receptacle and can hold the techniques. This would also explain why Yuta can only access copy when connected to Rika. Copy is also a very powerful ability on its own, but is even more deadly in the hands of someone like Yuta, who is said to have more cursed energy than Gojo. Yuta and Rika's immense cursed energy and his ability to learn very quickly make the techniques so much more potent. For example, Yuta copied Inamaki's cursed speech and commanded an army of cursors to die with no repercussions. In fact, we have no reason to believe it wouldn't have killed killed Geto on the spot if it wasn't for the fact that Geto reinforced his ears and brain with cursed energy. He also copied the technique of Druv and used it without needing any practice. Ryo speculated that the copy condition was for Rika to eat a part of the sorcerer. Rika ate Yuro's arm, then Yuta used Sky Control soon after, but this could so easily be a red herring, although it does seem likely that they just have to eat a bit of the DNA. That would make the most sense. In the future, I will make a video properly analyzing the limits of the copy technique. So that about wraps it up for this video about why Yuta is completely broken, and honestly, if that doesn't convince you, then I don't know what will. Don't be mistaken, I'm not trying to convince you that he's so much stronger than Gojo and Sukuna. No, obviously Gojo and Sukuna, as they are now, and as Yuta is now, would absolutely stomp all over Yuta, at least if it's a 1v1. I'm also really interested in making more Yuta content and Jujutsu Kaisen content in general, so if you have any suggestions, please do let me know below. I'm thinking of putting him up against some other popular opponents like Hikari. I know that fight's talked about a lot. Also maybe the Disaster Curses, maybe Toji, maybe Maharaga, hell, even Sukuna, why not? That being said, thank you for watching, see you next time.